ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our World of Warships live stream for update 0.10.0. I'm Mr. Conway, and it is fantastic to see you again. If you speak German, you might have seen me before speaking German. If you didn't, you might have also, but if you haven't, welcome. We are going to have a look today at what's come in the update. We're going to have a look at some captain skill builds. We're going to answer your questions and hopefully have a fun evening. But I'm not alone. I brought, as always, as is tradition, the glorious, the beautiful, the intelligent, sophisticated, this one.
It's me, Chrysanthos, and he even changed the name. So, hey guys, I hope you had a good week so far. And yes, we have a lot to talk about with update 0.10.0 because a lot of new things have been coming to the game, and I'm sure you have plenty of questions. And Mr. Conway and me will try our very best to answer your questions and concerns and see whether we can be helpful from our side and otherwise have some fun on the high seas with the newest update. Yep, so Mr. Conway, actually let me bring you here back.
Nice to see you. You're pale. There's something wrong.
I am pale. That's because it's winter.
No. It's not that. It's not that. You're not actually that pale.
I'm actually not that pale. I'm very happy to hear this. I have this, I would say, not basement color because I don't live in a basement, but it's not very sunny outside.
I don't know. Now you look like you're sick, but it's okay. We'll take this. It's slightly better, I think.
Slightly better. So
the thing is with Cialis, I didn't notice.
Good. No comment. We know why. Can you change the tag from German to English? We already did that.
Push F5, please.
It takes Twitch a few minutes to update the tag.
No, I think the tag doesn't change, even when the title changes. You have to actually F5.
I've changed the streaming language to English. Whether Twitch is actually going to recognize this at some point, sooner or later, we will see together, chat.
Yes. Anyway, so I think first of all, we're going to talk about the update. If you haven't yet, you can have the live version of Dasha in the form of Chrysanthos telling you all about what came in the update. It's actually not that much because, of course, the main feature of the update is the captain skill. No, but, like a different features.
It's not that much. It's just, you will have to
It's just this one thing where you have to respec. Yes, but we will get to this.
Yeah, for Mr. Conway, everything is very simple and easy. So welcome to my world.
Yes. Are you ready to show what? Are you? Can I?
I just wanted to turn on banana, and then we can. I mean, we don't need it for now. You can actually already display it here, and we can go through the update together.
Beautiful. Oh, this is not you. This is. There we go.
I heard already you and buttons today.
You could zoom in a little bit. Look, I don't know. Yes, me and buttons today.
So first of all, you can find all of this information on our portal, and I hope you do. You already see over 100,000 people read this publication on the EU server, but in general, take a look at these publications. They offer a lot of information plus links to more dedicated articles, like, for example, for the Commander Skill update. So yeah, 10.0, what does it bring? Before we get into the big part, that is the Commander Skill rework, we have the Lunar New Year content that was introduced with this update today on the EU server, yesterday already, for example, on the NA server, and it brings you a new set of combat missions. The big sets of combat missions that we have in the game are by now called combat mission groups. So what used to be directives is now combat mission groups, so don't be confused by this. We have new daily shipments, new ships, commanders, and this is themed around the topic of Lunar New Year. You've already seen this before, and we have, of course, the Dragon Port that we updated that you get to see in the game right now. We also have this beautiful set of combat mission groups that I talked about right now. We have a set of missions that will give you, if you do all of the combat mission groups, it will reward you with the Anshan in a 6 skill point commander and a port slot. If you already have the Anshan, because I've seen this question before, you will get credit compensation because the ship has been available for coal before. And you will also be able to get Journey to the West and Lunar New Year containers. And what you can find in these containers, you can find here in our infographics, right? So you can take a look at these ships. And for example, 2 new ships that we have introduced with this update are the Sansang and the Wujing. The Wujing is an Alsace clone, and the Sansang is a Saipan class CV. If you're wondering what is actually awaiting you here, here's the information about the compensation in terms of what you're going to get if you already own the Anshan in the game. And you can see in which containers what ships can drop. This is also here, including the new DD, the Feng Yang, if you're interested in that kind of playstyle, which is good Akisuki kind of playstyle, go check it out. We also have new daily shipments. It works the same way as before. When you log in, you get a pop-up, the window with daily shipments. I've already claimed mine, so I cannot show you the live pop-up, but we can quickly go in here, click on daily shipments. This is what's actually awaiting you. So I already claimed my daily reward today. And if you log in over the course of the next days, you'll be able to claim all of these, including 24 hours of premium time, 50 doubloons, and a Journey to the West container, and the Lunar New Year container. So I hope that you will do this over the course of the next time. You can see this is running until February the 3rd. That should give you enough time, even if you miss out on a few days, to claim these prizes. 14 days, 10 prizes, so you can miss out on 4. Sometimes it happens also to me.
Yes. Guys, I see a lot of questions in chat. We'll look right now. We can't do both, right? We can't answer questions and talk about stuff. So let's talk about stuff, and then we'll get to questions.
Exactly. So let's talk about this big beast, which is, of course, the main part of this update, especially for you. You've played World of Warships for quite a long time. Even if you're a new player, this is very interesting to you because the entire commander skill system has been reworked for this update. The main changes, first of all, we took the commander skill tree that was the same across all classes and divided it into a class-specific tree for each of the classes. That means we needed to change skills, introduce new ones, rework old ones. And that is, of course, I know that's going to be the main topic of this stream, but this was, the core change here, having different classes and the related skill trees. Then we have made an additional change. Up until this point, you were able to get up to 19 commander points on your commander. This has now been increased from the limit of 19 to 21, but it also means that you will have to, if you, for example, have a 19-point commander right now, you now need to, just as you did before, get commander XP to unlock the 20th and the 21st point just by playing the game, just like before. But you still keep the 19 points. We also added a skill recommendation system depending on the selected ships. We will show this in a second. Actually, we can actually take a look at this right now. When we
should I maybe look? We can do.
You do this perfect.
I can do that, and you can do this. And actually, it's a good point because I definitely want to try out Massachusetts, so we can start preparing.
So while Mr. Conway is opening up his commander skill screen, we can actually switch over here. And here you can see the skills that are basically marked with a golden edge. These are recommended skills that would be a potentially good fit for your commander. Obviously, this is just like a general recommendation. If you want to go for a different build, that's one of the ways how you can individualize, customize your ship to your own needs and what you want to build. But if you need a little bit of help, you can take this in-game recommendation. Or my recommendation is also check out what other people on forums, on Reddit, on, for example, the official Discord would recommend to you and why. So you can have a bit of an idea of what you could get out of the ship. And in this update, for the entire duration of the update, you can reset those skills for free. So it's a great time to play around with different builds, figure out what do you like, their new skills, potentially interesting to you, or whether you just want to rebuild your old build that you were familiar with and kind of pick similar skills to get the same kind of playstyle out of it. Yeah, if you have a commander with less than 21 skill points, which at the start of the update is the case unless you use your elite commander XP to bring them up to 21 skill points, these commanders will earn 5% extra elite commander XP per battle, which makes it a bit easier to get the needed XP score. For the 20th point, you need to grind 500,000 elite commander XP, and for the 21st point, you will need to grind 700,000. So in total, that's 1.2 million commander XP that you need to get these 2 additional points. On top of that, if you're a player like me who has hundreds of captains, and many of them with like 6 points, 10 points, 3 points, or 12 points, and you don't really want to grind them up, but you would still like to use the commander XP that you have on these commanders, you will now be able to kind of take this commander, melt his XP if you want to, either by using doubloons or credits. If you use doubloons, you get the entire amount of elite commander XP. like the Commander XP turned into Elite Commander XP, or if you use credits, you get 25%. And Mr. Conway, maybe you can show us actually this on your screen. Do you have a commander?
That I
maybe not the 19-point commander that you want to
No. Somebody was already saying, hey, dismissing a 19-point commander is really expensive. Yes, it is. But can I also ask, why would you want to dismiss a 19-point commander? This makes no sense. Like, this feature is intended for, let me show, right? We'll send this guy to the reserve. So I've got, for instance, some useless 3-point commanders that I don't even know why I have them, right? But with these guys, what I can do is I can dismiss them, and I can have a choice. I can either spend some doubloons to keep 100% of their XP as Elite Commander XP, or I can just spend some credits and get part of it, which means I can, and this is something I plan to do soon, I can go and I can clean house. I can get rid of all of these port queens and convert them into Elite Commander XP. It's not meant for you to go and say like, oh, I've got a 19-point commander. He's almost at 21. Let's dismiss him. That I wouldn't know why you want to do this. And the dismissal is absolutely free. But if you want to have the XP converted, you have the choices of the credits for 25% or doubloons for 100%.
Yes. You also still have the option, if you take a look at the lower right corner, to recruit a new commander. If you don't have one that currently fits what you want to do, if Mr. Conway can click on the recruit button. So you have two options. You can either recruit the 10 skill point commander for doubloons, just like you can do, for example, right now in the armory. It's the same price, 1,500 doubloons. And
you can change his picture.
And what I love,
you can change his name.
Which is great. If you don't like the current name, you can at least go through the names. You can't, give him an individual name, because we know, we would have to have a lot of restrictions on that, because he can be very creative. I know, I see a lot of chat logs. And the other option would be to go for the Naval Academy, which is a credit-based training where you get a 6 skill points commander for credits for 900,000. So this is a way to get a new commander that has already a little bit of your starting skill point pool that you can work with.
Yeah, another change that we made, actually, I can show this quickly if we go to a different ship. For instance, on, let's say, on Bismarck, right? If I want to have a different commander on Bismarck that's trained for a different ship, you'll notice there's no longer an option to pay credits for accelerating the retraining, which is because it now also costs less. So we've built this bonus that you have to normally pay for with credits into it, so that it just automatically takes half the time without costing you credits.
Exactly. This is just like exactly the same bonus that you would get for paying the credits. You just get now for free. Because I saw a lot of questions about this before the update came, but I hope by now it's actually clear that this was rolled into the system. It's not like we kicked out the option to pay credits instead of doubloons to get this bonus, but no, it's actually already rolled into the system.
Yeah, the Great Killer says it doesn't cost less, but it does, because now it costs nothing. Before, you had to pay credits to get the accelerated retraining. Now the accelerated retraining is free. Another thing I want to point out, if you are like me, or if you are like Chrysanthos, and you have a bazillion commanders, then it is, like during the update 0.10.0, you can retrain all of your commanders constantly. You can drop their skills and change them.
Let me show you where to find this. If you're with me right now, going through the publication.
Yeah. Just I wanted to quickly point this out, right? So let's see. Let's say we are going to be using Halsey on here, right? So I put Halsey on here. I can pick the skills as much as I want. Another cool thing is as well, it also works as a captain skill calculator. So you can select all your skills without applying them and see which builds work. I can even master them now. I can learn these completely useless skills, but then I can also redistribute them for free. Now, if you need to do this for a lot of different captains, this may take some time, but we have an option as well, if you want, and please be aware, this is not reversible, to retrain and dismiss, or basically forget all skills and all commanders at once, and then you can take your time before each battle and pick skills that are relevant for a ship when you play a ship that you haven't played since the update. Chrysanthus will show you how.
So where to find this button? So if you're with me in the update publication, right? So where we were before. You see here the main changes that we just talked about. We will be talking about this a bit more in detail anyway. But you see here we have the discounts and bonuses in update 0.10.0, where you will see the main information that yes, commander skills can be reset free of charge individually, just like Mr. Conway did right now. Also, upgrades can be demounted free of charge because we know this might really impact how you want to build your ship. So this is also completely for free for the duration of the update. And now, I know this sometimes because it has the word retrain. There was some confusion about this, but what this means, the custom doubloons for retraining commanders for different ships has been reduced by 90% from 500 to 50 doubloons. Means if you want to take, let's say, your Hindenburg commander that is specialized for the Hindenburg, and you think, hey, he's a 19-point commander, maybe he's Lutyens, I want to actually put him on my Kurfürst, that this move of changing the specialization of the ship has a 90% discount, and you can do it for 50 doubloons. And for this update, we actually introduced several ways how to get doubloons. If you log in, you get 500 doubloons straight up. We also added a set of combat missions. I can show you in-game where you can find them, which will net you each one 100 doubloons in total, 6 of them. So you can get up to 1,100 doubloons plus 50 from the daily shipments. So that should be like 23 commanders, if my math isn't off, that you can retrain and set to another ship.
Yes, to just also say, we don't have a button to remove all upgrades. This is not something we thought people would want, to be honest, because for most ships, the upgrades are likely, I don't think you'll want to change it for most of those.
Yeah, especially since you already, like I could understand why you want to do it, but trust me, like when you reset all of your commanders, you will not regret it, but you know that it's going to take quite a bit of time to go through it. And especially with upgrades, you probably don't want to change all of them like you would potentially want to do with skills, because you want to try out what works and what kind of combinations are possible. And you would end up mounting a lot of the same upgrades. So I think that it's a very special request. So we have this not available right now. But if you want to know where you can actually find that button, if you go here in the Update Skill System dedicated article, so we'll just click on this, you will find here at the very bottom, if you scroll down, you will here find the button. If you're logged in, I'm currently not logged in here because I just opened up this browser. You can reset skills for all commanders. But as Mr. Conway said, like if you push this button, there's no turning back. All of your commanders will be completely reset, and you will have to redistribute all of the skills. If you're somebody like me who likes to do that, then do it. I did it. But otherwise, if you just rather want to do it step by step with your commanders, then it's probably better to do it for each of the commanders.
I also put a link to the page directly in chat if you want to just go there. There was another question from Aaron DB, is how do I dismiss captains of a nation where I have no ships? Unfortunately, it's a bit of an oversight. That's currently not possible. However, you can purchase a free tier 1 ship for that nation and then dismiss them and
we can actually show this
again.
Let me show this quickly in game. So let's say, for example, you have a commander of whatever nation. Let's take my Hashidate, which is obvious, or let's take my Erie. Yeah, it's my American cruiser here, the Start cruiser. Now, I don't have a commander here. If I want to take any commander, let's not maybe dismiss one of our special commanders, but let's maybe go for not Ovechkin. As you can see, these commanders actually ranked by the amount of skill points they have, which I think is very nice. So you scroll down to a commander that you potentially want to melt away. So let's say Daniel Oakley. Daniel, I'm sorry, your time is over. You can just set here free retaining. You move him to this ship. And then you can say, hey, I want to dismiss him. And then you get this option. How do you want to dismiss him? Do you want to just, kick him out of your reserve? Or do you want to get 25% of the commander XP back? Or do you want to get 100%? This will cost you doubloons. This will cost you credits. For example, I will now say credits, bam. And this is how it works. So what you need is just having the start ship, and you can just assign him there, and then you still get to do this. So I know this is not like the most ideal way of doing it, but I think it's a bit of a special case scenario. But we already provided it.
Yeah. Let me just one more thing. Slingerdinger says, I've played this game since close beta, so because I've been so loyal to your game, I've amassed a lot of ships and commanders. Now I'm penalized because of my loyalty to you, because there's no way I can be bothered to spend the time resetting my commanders. So like I said, the best thing, and this is what I did, and this is what I would recommend to you if you're in this situation, is go push the button, reset all of the commanders, and then you just keep playing like you normally do. And when you play a ship you haven't played yet since the update, you take the 1 minute or so to pick a skill for the set for him, and then you keep playing. There's no need to pick skills for all of your 200 commanders. You can do that, like slowly. As long as they reset, you have unlimited time to pick new skills for free.
Yeah, and if you're, for example, if you feel like, hey, I can't be bothered to go through this step by step and reset it for all of my commanders or do it individually, when we deployed this update, and that's what I wanted to highlight here, is all of your commander skills were already automatically redistributed using the recommendation system. So you already have like a setup commander with the new system. Maybe just take a look at them, and if you feel like, hey, like these commanders actually look quite nice for what I want to do with my ships, you can just keep them. You don't really have to redistribute. Or if you want to have more manual control, just reset them.
I think there's still some confusion. You don't have unlimited time to request or to initiate the reset, but once you've reset it, all the commanders are going to have no skills and all the skill points free to spend until you do it.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll talk more about the commander system, right? But just to finish this up, the dockyard is still available, right? We still have missions that you can complete until the end of update 0.10.0. And if you, for some reason, missed out on some things and you're just missing like a few phases and you would still like to get Heathen, you will be able to purchase phases up until the end of the next update, so 0.10.1. And we do have clan brawls. I hope by now you tried it already, and even if you're not in a clan, you can still participate because only the player who creates the division to kick off the clan brawl is required to be in a clan. Everybody else can be a mercenary, so that means, if you have even a small clan and you would like to participate, your clanmates are maybe not that interested or don't have time, you can just invite people you met in World of Warships that are in other clans or are in no clans and just play together. We have 2 new brawls coming up. You can see here the times and the rules. Both of them will be 7v7. They're going to be played without CVs, and the first one is going to be on tier 8, and the second one in February is going to be on tier 10. So please check it out. We always have a lot of fun playing those. I'm a big fan of the smaller ones, for example, the 3v3 or the 5v5 are a lot of fun. 7v7 is a quite familiar setup for you, so if you want to give it a try, go check it out. You can find all of the rules, the rewards here also in the description. And for example, nice way to get some Elite Commander XP on top, because that's one of the rewards for the Brawl in the combat missions.
Can you use the button to reset commanders more than once? I don't think so. I think it's one time.
I think it's one time, yes.
I mean, you still have unlimited resets in-game for each commander individually, but the global reset, I think, only works once.
Yeah. And then, as usual, we have other changes. If you always wanted, like, you can find all of the game balance changes here. For example, the changes we made to the secondaries. Also, the changes to German battleships, because one of the big feedback points that we got from you was a concern about German battleship secondary performance. So we actually buffed the accuracy. So now, thanks to this buff, if you take the improved secondary battery aiming, this skill will kind of have the effect of like increasing it by 50% to give you a little bit of a value to understand, okay, by how much was it increased. And with the changes to the secondary system, with not being restricted to only one target that you selected, you might actually get a buff out of it because the range was increased. You are able to hit several targets at the same time.
Okay.
With
Just one more time. There's so many people asking, where's this link? This is the link, right? If you are not playing on the EU server, just in the URL, just change EU to .com or .asia or .ru. This works on all portals. It works until the 15th of February. You have time to push this button. Then otherwise, you can also find it in the bottom of the Captain's Skills publication.
Yeah. One of the changes I want to highlight, which I think is personally quite a nice change, is engine damage. So if your engine is critically damaged, up until this update, it would stop functioning completely. Now it would still continue to function at 20% efficiency. I still recommend using Last Stand because that will also help you with the rudder, but that's at least something that I think is something worth highlighting. For the Atlanta, we increased the main battery firing range, 11.1 to 13.3 kilometers. So we basically rolled the old AFT into the Atlanta and the Atlanta B. Thank you for your feedback on this. And then, for example, for the Colbert, we improved the acceleration, deceleration dynamics, and a bunch of other changes that you can find here. Content additions, as usual, we will be testing some ships. and other changes and improvements you can find here. For example, this is for me quality of life change. When you start up the game will already load in the background even when the video plays, so it will help with starting World of Warships faster. And then a lot of other changes, like for example, if you have the Shikishima, the main battery salvo can be heard on a longer range with the fantastic gun sound.
Yes.
And with this, I think we should just go into the game.
Yes, let me just quickly, because we talked about some balance changes that we applied with this update. We know that there are some ships that there are wide requests for balance changes as well. Things like Flint, large cruisers. This is something that we are aware of, right? And we are going to be watching these ships particularly closely. We're going to have a look at the performance before the update and performance after the update. And then if changes need to be made to keep them competitive or bring them back up to level, they will be made. It's just a better solution than going the other way and having them too strong and making them weaker. And some of these ships were already quite strong. So calm down. We will take care of them if they need it.
Yeah.
And yes, Flint, we know.
Yeah, we in general, I know that you're concerned about certain ships. I mean, in general, I know, it's a big change. So a lot of you are concerned about, okay, how is this going to impact the gameplay? Is it going to push any change in how players are going to play? How is it going to affect my favorite ships or my personal playstyle? Yes, it's a big change. We know this. And we will keep a very close eye on this. And that also obviously includes the ships that you've highlighted. You already saw that we did changes to, for example, the Atlanta. We did changes to German battleships. We keep a close eye on ships like the Siegfried or the Flint. And what we're doing right now is we want to see how these changes impact those ships and then see, okay, is there a drop in performance? How big is it? And then what can we do to help the ship? With the Atlanta, we already wrote it into it. The Flint plays a bit differently and has smoke, right? So it's a bit of a different discussion here, but we are definitely going to keep an eye on this. So just give us a bit of time to monitor it, and then we'll make balance changes.
Yeah, and we know, and this is, I think, going to be a symptom for today and the weekend and maybe this week. We know right now there are a lot of people playing the battleships at long range, and I don't think this is because they from now on never intend to near a cap again, but like everybody else, they're experimenting with the new skills and they're testing out the effect of the new Deadeye skill. So I don't think the next week is going to be representative for what the meta is going to be. This is one of the reasons why we need to release it and we need to let it stabilize a little bit and we need to let people get used to the new skills and things that will calm down.
Great time to take out your Somers.
Yes.
No, but overall, this is something we are aware of it, right? But as with any change, as Mr. Conway said, everybody wants to try it. I obviously also go into the game. I tried it already on the PT quite a bit, but on the live server, it's a completely different beast. And you want to see, okay, how do these changes affect my playstyle? Also, because you can reset all of the skills for free right now. It's a great time to, just try it out. Figure out what you like, what you dislike, and of course you want to give it a shot. So please do so. Yes, it will be a bit confusing, in the beginning because there's so many different skills, so many different combinations. Now you have different skill sets for different commanders and classes. So please do me the favor. Go try it out. I know some things might look like, oh my god, this I don't like this change, I don't like that change, or this skill is suddenly different, or I don't have, for example, BFT. We know this, but please go check them out, provide us your feedback, and then we'll try our very best to accommodate that feedback and improve the system for the future. It's a big change, and obviously there will be follow-up changes later on. I saw a comment here from Romeo Wood, who is asking about light cruisers. He says, at all levels, the light cruisers, especially below level 8, so tier 8, he says they're breaking engines, steering gears, and so on without preventive maintenance. Are you monitoring this data and information? This is kind of intended, right? Because of the way HE works and the very light, thin plating that light cruisers have. But we also give you, for example, with the skills that you can mount on a commander or that you can train on a commander, the option to kind of, counterplay that. So if you, for example, have a lot of issues with this, go pick Last Stand. It's a 1-point skill and it will make your life much, much easier. If we see that, it's too big of an issue, we can make changes, but at least in terms of game mechanics, this is working as intended. And let's say more heavily armored ship will have less of that problem compared to a lightly armored ship. And has a certain disadvantage, but also other advantages.
Okay, let's have a look at in practice, right?
Yeah.
So I am going to go and we're going to try and see if Massachusetts. Are you willing to go secondary build with me together?
Yes, but actually we can do it with the Pommern because I want to show something. But there was a question here about where can we give our input on the changes and our experience with the changes.
Yes,
So,
there's
Stormtrooper,
there's a button for me to post.
Perfect. So Mr. Conway will share. We have a survey prepared for today where you can actually provide your feedback in a survey about the update in general. You can rate the update and its features. Go touch it first before you do that, because then you have your own experience to do so. And then in general, we always have feedback topics on the forums and we monitor them closely. So if you want to share your feedback, I guarantee you that our community managers are going to take a look at all of your comments. We're going to compile it, we're going to send it to our developers, and they will take a look at what you have to say about specific skills, about the changes, about your concerns, or what you like about it, right? If you have something that you like about the system, like the UI or certain things you would like to see improved, I saw, for example, comments that players would like to get as like a way to access the reserve of commanders, because you can't do this right now. If you have suggestions, feedback, please give it to us, and then we can show it to our developers, and they can take it into consideration for future changes.
Lion Jome asks, how many battles would you recommend we play for before we give feedback about the changes? Sample size and all. Look, as many as possible. It depends how active you are. If you know you're going to be playing a lot this weekend, maybe fill out the survey on Monday.
Overall, the more the better. My general rule of thumb is, that's also true for testing ships. Don't judge a ship on the first battle, because you might just have a really good or really bad first battle. I would say once you've played 5 to 10 battles, you have an understanding of, because you had several different situations, how the ship can deal with it. And then the more battles, like the higher, the better. I know you probably don't want to wait for like 4 weeks to provide your full feedback, but at least, play a few battles with the same build to get a good understanding of what it can do, what it can't do, and then write it down. And the more details, the better. Maybe in bullet point form, you can say like, hey, I like this, I dislike that aspect for this and this reason. Feedback like, oh, this is shit, I will uninstall the game, is not really helpful, because even if we, want to take this feedback, there's no information about why you dislike it. So try to be specific and highlight the things you would like to see more and highlight the things that you would like to see less. And then we'll do our very best to implement this in the future. And Leviathan says, yes, it's obvious the new changes are not ready yet. Still, we want to push out and try to grab as much money as possible in a short period of time. Way to go. So, I understand where this is coming from, but our game is about, of course, sinking ships, having fun, but also about progression, right? You want to get to tier 10. You want to get your commander to 19 points. And even though I see quite a few comments that say, oh, we never wanted this system to be touched, we actually, we've been streaming a lot. And there were plenty of questions about, are you going to, increase the amount of maximum points you can get on a commander? Are you going to introduce new skills? Now, we wanted to make these changes to, first of all, improve the system, the UI that is in there, also having the option to have different builds, meaningful builds, class-specific ones, to cater to different playstyles. And this is kind of like a basis we can also use for future changes and make introductions, like, for example, submarines, or if we wanted to add, a new set of skills that would be, particularly interesting for, let's say, one branch. It opens up a lot of options. But our game has been out for a very long time, and this system hasn't been touched in quite a long time. And we want to improve the game. Believe it or not, our main drive for this game is to keep it growing, to make sure there's content for you to play with, to have fun with, to have something to interact with, and commanders are part of that. Now, in terms of, let's say we take the maximum amount of skill points, now you have 19 points. You still have 19 points, but now you have the option to get a 20th and a 21st point. Yes, you will have to play for that. Just like if we introduce a new line of ships that you will have to play to unlock it and not automatically have it unlocked. This is, it's part of the game, right? It grows, it becomes more complex, and that also means that sometimes we will increase the kind of the ceiling to have more options. Now, your 19-point commanders are not suddenly 0-point commanders. They're still 19-point commanders that you can use, and now we add 2 additional points. Like me, for example, I have 43 tier 10s. I have over 400 ships with a lot of commanders.
Yes.
I like to have the option to try something new. I like to be able to say, okay, these 2 additional points might give me different options in terms of builds that I didn't have before. Maybe you disagree. I fully respect that. But overall, the intention here is to give you more tools, to give you more options. And yes, if you already have a large set of commanders, it will take you some time to grind them out to 21 points. But the difference between a 19-point and a 21-point commander is significantly smaller than, let's say, for example, you have a 10-point commander and a 19-point commander, right? So this is a bit of a long-term project for you, just as before when you started playing the game and you wanted to get to 19 points. It's progression, and we will always try to keep expanding the game, and I hope you enjoy this. I can understand, the point of I had my commander was maxed out.
Yeah,
Now I have to play more to max him out again, but it also gives you more options.
And Couch986 says, sure, but my 21-point build is now weaker than some of my old 19-point builds. Yes, there was some rebalancing done, but it's not as though you suddenly have a new captain skill system, other people have the other one. Everybody has the same captain skill system. So if your 19 points may be a little bit weaker now because we made some changes, also balance changes to captain skills, it's also affecting everybody else. So there is an equal playing field there.
Yes. We had to rebalance some skills because some were too cheap, some were too expensive. So this was a rebalancing done anyway. And now everybody has kind of the same requirements or the same basis to work from. Everybody has the same skills to pick from. So there's no benefit of, the old build versus the new build because the old build doesn't exist anymore. I understand that you want to compare, this was my, old Harugumo, this is the new Harugumo. What can both of them do? But we changed it, we rebalanced some things, and now you get to have 2 more points to adjust it further.
Should we try and
yes,
should we let's play?
I
would really like to. I had a very successful game in Kurfürst secondaries. I'd like to give Massachusetts a go. I'd like to get your feedback on my build actually, because I'm not entirely sure whether or not. Look, because obviously if you want to go for a full secondary build, you kind of need to choose. There are kind of 3 skills that are mandatory to choose, right? You need close quarters combat for reload time when you're close, both for main battery and for secondary batches, which makes brawling much more attractive. We definitely need to have long range secondary shells and the improved aiming. But the question is now, do I go for fire prevention or do I go for emergency repair expert for an extra consumable charge and quicker, better healing? I'm not entirely sure right now. I don't have enough points yet to have adrenaline rush as well, which on a 21-point commander I would drop this and probably add it there, or maybe drop this and add it there.
Yes, so I can just go through my commander, for example. This is something I wanted to show. Because one of the changes that we made to the system is if you have a commander, and we by now have quite a few commanders with special skill set, talents and personalizations. If you go here looking at my Günther Lütjens, he's actually trained for the Hindenburg. So in the old system, he would be locked to the Hindenburg. But now you have the option to actually assign him also to premium and special ships and use him even though it's a different class. So right now I have here my Tirpitz, and I can use the benefit of having the Günther Lütjens commander without having to retrain him here to the Tirpitz. So I can use him. I can, for example, say, okay, what would I like to do for the first skill? I would say emergency repair specialist, for example. For the second one, depending on how I want to play, we're going to play pushies. I'm going to take vigilance for better torpedo acquisition range because it's going to give us a bit of a warning.
You don't think it's worth having the? I mean, I'm using Ovechkin. You're using Lütjens. Both of them get the improved grease the gears, which with plus 25% turning time. Mm-hmm. Let's quickly look at this, right? Because you can actually see the effect of this immediately. You can see my 180 second turn time goes down by 7.2 seconds with this skill, right? So from 36 seconds, it goes to 28 seconds, which is it's a big increase in speed. Don't you think that's worth it?
I think it's worth it. And this is the point. This is what I personally like about commanders and upgrades, because now you have to make a decision. What do you prefer? Do you want to build your commander in a way that I, for example, would have picked, depending on how you play, but this is going to be a pushy play style. Are you more concerned about spotting torpedoes and potentially dodging them and the incoming damage, or is your bigger problem that your turrets are usually not on target while brawling? For me, I have the the luxury right now because my Günther Lütjens, I am a player who plays a lot. So I do have quite a bit of Elite Commander XP. I had 14 million, and I used my Elite Commander XP to train Günther Lütjens to 21 points. And that gives me the option to actually pick both Vigilance and Grease the Gears. Grease the Gears now is the old Expert Marksman in a sense that, you have an improved turret traverse time, but instead of going for a set value of how many degrees the turret will turn in a certain amount of time, you now have a flat percentage-based bonus. Here we have Mr. Conway has 20%, no, actually also 25%, because he's using Ovechkin. Same thing is true for Günther Lütjens. Then I'm using the long-range secondary battery shells, which is a skill that gives you a 20% buff to the secondary range. And give me a second. And then there's this skill here, which is the old manual secondary battery control skill, which is now called improved secondary battery aiming. It gives you a 35% bonus to the dispersion of secondary shells. But the good thing is you don't have to select a target to fire them. Because in the old system, you had to manually select a target to kick off the targets. You can still set a priority target, which gives you a small bonus additionally on that on the secondary battery accuracy. But if you select one target, if you have, for example, on the left hand is another Tirpitz, on the right hand is a DD, you can click on the DD to be prioritized, but on the left side, the secondaries will still shoot. So with improved range that we rolled into the secondaries for the update, plus this, you might actually get more out of the secondary build than before. And then close quarter combat is a new skill. You get another 10% secondary battery reload time, and it can be activated. So this is a new condition that we have in general for quite a few skills. I saw here, for example, a question about the Dazzle skill. And here it says, can be activated and will give you the condition. Increases the reload speed of the main battery after an enemy has been spotted within the firing range of your ship's secondary battery. And that gives you another 10% main battery reload time improvement, which is a cool, additional buff on the secondary battery reload time. So this is quite a strong brawling build, but you have to make a decision. Do you want to go for example, survivability? Would you like to get would you go for fire prevention expert? Or do you rather have 10% longer action time of the damage control party, healing a bit longer and getting an additional charge? So this is, in the new system, you have to make a bit more choices. You can go for example, a stronger AA, a strength here to fight the CVs in a better way, but you will have to sacrifice something else about your build. And this is kind of the direction we're taking here. So let me master this. And you can also, if you want to access all skills, you can actually check this here, what skills are available. You can see that I already trained my commander on all of these ships, and I can just assign him, and as long as it's a premium or a special ship, I don't have to retrain him from the Hindenburg. And there was a question here about the Dazzle skill. Same thing happens here. You can see can be activated, means it has a precondition. Here the precondition is reduces the accuracy of hostile fire directed at your ship for 15 seconds after you've been detected. And then, so let's say you're undetected. Suddenly an enemy destroyer detects you. For the first 15 seconds after this moment of being spotted, the enemy dispersion of shells fired at you will be 20% less accurate. After these 15 seconds, it will reset to the regular dispersion. So now, if you get, for example, radared, for the first 15 seconds, the enemy will have a harder time hitting you. This is the benefit of the Dazzle skill. And this is, based on an activation. We have several skills like this. So please keep an eye out on this. When you see this can be activated, or, whatever it is in your language, then it means there's a certain condition attached to it. Another great example would be on a battleship. It's not really worth it to take it on a Tirpitz that you want to build for secondaries, but one of the most discussed skills that we have in the game right now is Deadeye. And it says, can be activated. Increases the firing accuracy of main battery if there are no visible hostile ships within the ship's standard detectability radius. If that is the case, you get a maximum dispersion of main battery shells buff by 10%. So 10% can be nice. It's not a super huge buff, but it can make the difference, right? So what does this mean? What is this activation? So we know that if there are no hostile visible ships, so visible ships, right? In our standard detectability radius, you're wondering, okay, what are we talking about, detectability radius? If you go into your skills here, into your characteristics of your ship, you see detectability range by sea. This is the value we're talking about. So this is basically after skills have been applied that are not activated and after upgrades are mounted. So this is, the standard value that you find in the port. This is the value that we are referring to here. And that's it. And these kind of activated skills, you don't really have right now any kind of feedback from the game that, the skill is currently active or inactive. So you kind of have to learn about your ship. What is my standard detectability range to trigger this? But once you know this, you can operate with that in mind. And I'm sure that at some point in the future, we might have an improvement in the game that you can actually see this being triggered. And then, Mr. Conway, I'll invite you to a division, and we can put this to the test.
Yes, sorry, I'm just reading Twitch chat. Some people are angry about completely opposite things. It's quite interesting to watch. You didn't answer my question. Fire prevention or going for emergency repair expert?
Why don't you, so what is your bigger problem? No, really, this is
honestly,
in general this is what I try to tell players. It's like, this is one of the few ways in World of Warships how you can customize your ship. So think about.
You know what? I'm going to go with the repair expert for now.
If you want to, how to phrase this? If you run into the problem of dying very early on in the battle, if you go for a secondary battery build, going for the extra consumable is probably not going to be the most helpful thing for you to take, because you probably already died before the benefit of this kicks in.
Yes,
if you're in a situation, because apparently the fires are probably your bigger problem.
Yes and no.
If you manage to position yourself in a way that you get the maximum out of it.
I would agree with most ships, right? But Messages is a bit different because of how her heal works, right? Because she's already got a very slow, quick reload to the heal. And with the skill, reload time actually goes down to under 37 seconds for having the next heal available. So I feel because of the fast pace of the heals on Massachusetts, it's better to have the repair for this specific instance.
The concept is still the same, though. Like if you take a look at the skills, I would always highly recommend you to think about not what do other people pick, but how can you improve your ship to your own needs?
Yes.
Are you in a situation where you die very early on? Then probably take a look at your playstyle first of all, but also take a look at how can you mitigate some of the most painful elements in the game for you. If you're in a situation that CVs, you have a feeling that they target you very often, try the new AA builds. In my opinion, they're actually quite strong. If you feel like, hey, fires are my biggest problem, then probably fire prevention is going to be very helpful for you. If you think that, hey, I can manage fires, I can manage floodings, I can angle very well, then the consumable one is probably the best one for you to pick. But it's really your choice, and I highly recommend you to try it out during this update. Play around with it, have some fun, and Mr. Conway, please invite me to Division. Change is good for some, but how do you set up a heavy cruiser? Burn down quickly. Well, heavy cruisers have the benefit of having additional HP compared to regular cruisers. They do usually also have better armor and higher caliber guns, but fires are, just like for battleships, are supposed to be a threat to these ships. So this is intentional, that this is one of the weaknesses, and that we don't want the old battleship skill for survivability to affect the cruisers. This is kind of like a way to distinguish between those different ships and playstyles, also with the skills that are available to them.
Sorry, I'm just picking a different camouflage.
If you in general struggle to figure out, like, oh my god, I have so many ships, maybe some ships that I haven't played in a very long time, are there any recommendations? You can find the recommended skills as we showed in the game from our side. But if you want to take a look at different builds, the Help Me Discord guys created a really nice Google document about different builds or recommended builds for different playstyles. So maybe take a look at this as a little bit of an inspiration of what you could actually build, because other people already spent quite a bit of time thinking about how to get the maximum out of these builds.
Let's do it. So have a go.
And Wingslinger says, this is an administrative nightmare. I'm spending all my time screwing with captain skills now instead of playing the game. Yes, I understand. Yes, this is going to take some time. And it's going to take some time to learn about these new skills, to figure out which ones to pick. But I think at the end of the day, it first of all freshens up the game a bit, right? It gives you also more options and to maybe potentially find builds that are even more fun than the ones that you had before. So yes, it's kind of like a necessary evil to make this change and to then redistribute the skills. We already automatically redistributed the skills on your ships, but I personally like to play around with these kind of things. And unfortunately, with the skill system, it's not something we can easily test on, let's say, a sandbox server or a public test server because the player behavior is quite different compared to the live server.
Yes. There's a comment here from my mother who's said this a few times. He says, guys, please put the Pommern in Massachusetts 1 kilometer side by side. Stay still, and you'll see the only damage done is from fires and no penetration. That's absolutely correct. Because especially if you've improved the accuracy, if you have battleships too close to each other with secondaries, because the way the secondaries work is they just aim at the center mass of the ship. And the center mass of the ship on the battleship is very well protected because there's an armor belt, so it'll not do any damage. The secondaries really work best against other battleships, at least at more mid-range, where the dispersion is good enough that you're going to hit the ship, but not good enough that you're going to hit the ship where you're not going to do any damage. It's very good, of course, against ships where your secondaries are going to punch straight through, but two battleships next to each other at that distance is going to be very boring and nothing's going to happen.
Grand Admiral Aquino, I'm sorry that you feel this way, but it's also 1.2 million, not 1.7 million Commander XP. But overall, take a look at it. Go try it out. I understand that in the first...
East or west, quickly. I would say
let's go
east.
A. Let's go A. In general, my recommendation is go try it out. I understand that you might not see the benefit right now, but not all of the skills have been translated one-to-one. From the old system to the new system. You also have some interesting new options. And everybody else will also have to make a decision how to build their ships. So go try it out. It's going to be probably pretty messy for the next 1 or 2 weeks because a lot of people are going to try out the different builds and, it's going to impact gameplay to a certain degree because people are testing. But then, there will be builds that are more popular. People will have a better understanding of how the skills work and what works for them, what doesn't work for them. And I hope then you also see the benefit of the system. And if you don't, then please still share the feedback about what you dislike, and then we'll see what we can do to improve it for the future.
Finn says, every ship build is now worse, get used to it. But if that's true, then none are worse, because if everything's worse, then... Do you know what I mean? I think everybody wants us to play Flint. I think we can maybe try. I personally didn't play Flint before the change.
Do you have the Flint?
Huh?
Do you have the Flint?
I bought it when it got converted to coal, but I didn't have it before. And I bought it. I think I've played 1 game.
Okay.
It's never been, I don't know, like Flint and Atlanta. I'm not one for the squishy ships usually, especially the squishy ships that, like squishy torpedo ships maybe, but the squishy gunships, I don't know. It's a tricky for me to play.
And Grand Admiral, thank you for playing on the PT. I really mean it. I understand that you might not agree with the choices that we've made, but thank you very much for playing on the PT and providing the feedback. But I kind of disagree about the effect on being absolutely melted, but we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, and look, I realize Flint with its short range is going to be a bit tricky, but it's not necessarily going to stay at that range.
Can I play the Smalland? I can play the Smalland after this match, maybe. Let me just quickly adjust my crosshair because Zehalis is playing not with mine. There we go. Okay, can we have a good shot here yet on the E-gear? Not yet. And you can already see here we're going to slowly but steadily push in and try to use these secondaries. So we have here these torpedoes. Whose tops are this? Triple set? Must have been this set. It's a fully broadsided Bismarck. It's a set of 5 torpedoes. I guess it's the Fletcher. Both of these are probably here.
Well, your turbo's on the Bismarck.
Yep.
Could have used the Bismarck now.
Okay, York is hydroing. We're probably going to be here the main target.
How aggressive are we being, by the way?
Against double DDs, I know you love to be super aggressive.
Double DDs, double Bismarck, Georgia, E-gear.
Yep.
Okay, maybe not so aggressive then.
We can let them push him. Our Österjylland is hopefully spotting okay. So let's see what the secondaries can do here.
Iggy
against
is almost
Fletcher.
down though.
So Fletcher is here. Secondaries are shooting, and we're going to also shoot with the main battery. He's trying to turn away. So he's not dropping the smoke and staying in the smoke. I was hoping for him to slow down a bit. Okay. Secondaries, you can do it. Oh wow, that Iggy is melting.
Yeah, he
I
did.
don't know why he's that aggressive here. It's not really very beneficial.
Oh god, that torpedo has got my name on it. I don't want it. No.
Don't take it, Conway.
Yeah, but I'm gonna take. I don't know what's worse, taking that or Citadels. I dodged it.
Oh, that hurt quite a bit.
And I got my first close call 6. This is not a good idea, guys. I'm being too aggressive here. I need to really fall back now.
Oh, this is Sarah? No, he's trying.
I had to push out a bit more, otherwise I would have taken torpedo on the nose, which is really not what I wanted right now.
Oof. That York is gone. Oh. Both teams lost a lot of ships already. Okay, the Georgia is not paying attention to me, so I can take the time to turn a bit. I would love to brawl these guys, but Georgia, Bismarck is already also very strong.
Very strong, yes.
Secondary
no.
focus. And something that I personally have to get used to is I'm dropping priority target more and more often on my builds to get a little bit more points for other shenanigans. And it doesn't tell you how many people are aiming at you, so sometimes
Yes.
I get caught up by this. I would love for this Bismarck to push in a bit more.
No, will I be able to dodge this one? Oh no, 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 no. Oh, this is not good. No, Conway.
It's Fletcher top, I guess.
Yes. I got another heal up though.
At least something.
I mean, it's a good thing. Well, that Bismarck should be dead.
Yes, nice job by the Österjylland. Okay, DD is trying to farm me.
No, 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 no. Ah, okay. Beautiful reverse dodge there.
Was there a nice Conway-sized gap in there?
There was a Conway-sized gap. It's a Massachusetts, so it's like quite a chunky gap.
So I hope the Österjylland is going to spot, and then we'll try to punish these battleships and DDs.
Yeah, right now, how's your hit point? Okay, you're gonna have to take tanking duties here.
Yeah, that Georgia is doing like a good focus fire.
Oh god, yeah, he's really like I'm almost dead, by the way.
Well, let's see whether I can get his attention. He's probably not going to fall for it, but maybe I can pressure him a bit.
I got another heal off. That's the great thing about the Massachusetts. Survivability through that quick reload heal is usually quite
you need
good.
battleship
But
experience, push near the cap and you're done. Well, just like before, if you're pushing into a position too early, you're going to be dead. I mean, you have to, like, situational awareness is still a thing, and it should be a thing. It's just like, just pushing into a cap without thinking about it, God, is always going to end up not very well for your battleship health. Okay, we're going to take 2 torps.
oh, he's taking torps.
Oh, the Fletcher, nice. The Fletcher played this quite nicely, repositioning here instead of just moving backwards. So
I
I'll
kind
have
of need to
angle
move
against
now,
him.
though. Otherwise, the Fletcher I think is going to.
I'm not in range here for torpedoes, and I have to angle against the Bismarck. Who's coming in here? Ah, it's the hardest.
Yeah, let's
So he split. Okay, so he split up his torpedoes. Yes.
too many torpedoes there, unfortunately.
So our secondaries are going to kick off here on the Bismarck. And we'll just have to... Oh, there's this. Hello, Zara. Actually changing. And see, we can actually fire now both sets of secondaries, like both sides of the ship, and fire their secondaries. Going to help us. I hope our secondaries can do a good job here on the Fletcher. He's now not spotted anymore. And I will then turn a bit to deal with the Bismarck and use my torpedoing on him. Well, Mr. Conway can grab a few questions from chat.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Will we see Vampire 2 before Australia Day? I cannot say, unfortunately. I wish to ask, why is that CVs can get better torp damage with no negatives, but PBs who want more P damage have to deal with longer fire and flood times? That's a good question. I mean, it's a balance decision ultimately, and it's points that they CVs have to invest. But we can pass that on as a feedback for sure. What does Last Stand do now if ships have 20% functionality minimum anyway? Well, Last Stand gives you, is it 50%?
Yes, plus it affects the rudder.
Yes.
That's the important point. Because the engine, yes, the engine might still work with 20%, but your rudder can still get jammed.
Yes, exactly. So it increases the benefit and protects your rudder, which I, to be honest, think is in many cases the more critical one anyway.
Oh, please don't die, Mr. Jutland. I need you to survive these DDs and space. Oof. These DDs have been playing very well. Clan Blaiseau. Is it a French clan? I don't remember. Good focus here from the DDs to try to save the cap.
Yeah. Disorder, that's 55. Not all sure if it's been covered already, but will there be a way to purchase the Journey to the West containers or the ships in them separately? Currently, it's only the Lunar New Year ships containers that are available. I don't honestly know. I think
check the armory for the ships. I mean,
no,
the premium shop.
Not the Lunar New Year. The Journey to the West.
Ah, okay.
The ones from last event. I don't think there is a way to purchase those separately at the moment. No.
Every ship has to invest. CV is the only one that doesn't have to sacrifice HP to do it. Yeah, but it has to invest its plain HP pool, which is basically its turrets. That's the trade.
Kimza Bimza, with this rework, it seems you reward camping passives to playstyle a lot. No, we don't. There's no additional reward for it at all. If you play passively, if you camp, you are going to be losing the majority of your battles. I personally see the Deadeye skill more of something that's useful towards the beginning of the battle for the first few salvos. When I tested it, you find yourself quite quickly getting into ranges or having ships come into your range where the skill doesn't work anymore. But it can be interesting for a few ships that are specialized snipers. But they again don't have other 4-point skills that may be very useful to them for increased survivability or detection range.
Okay, so we got the Zara here, and now let's see whether we can do something about the DDs. They're going to keep spamming us. The shores, unfortunately, will go down to them. Maybe you can hydra them for a second. I wish our Österjütland would be a bit more in front of us. A little bit of a torpedo detector. And, oh, the Shores is still alive. I'm surprised from the Sovietsky Soyuz not hitting the target. Okay, let's launch our spotting plane. And let's do this.
Mr. Conway, please can we keep flags out of the resource containers? If we need flags, we can choose flag containers. Maybe we surprise us with steel instead. Ooh, that gets my immediate upvote. But there's still a random element to the containers, right? They have a higher chance of dropping resources in more of the slots. But otherwise, we could just tell it, turn it into a get coal button.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy because I got rid of most of my steel flakes from the snowflakes. And I played quite a bit of ranked, so my steel supply is looking quite nicely.
Yeah. When do I get the prize of the Minnesota battle? You were 23rd place of the event. Well, congratulations. It should be arriving. I
can answer this. So we are currently doing just a regular check to make sure that there were no bots and other shenanigans involved. And as soon as that is done, we will update the publication and issue the reward. So it will probably take a few additional days. But as soon as you basically see the article being updated, you will know that you got your prize. We just want to make sure, that people who played properly. then
Yeah.
we'll issue the rewards.
Once again, for those of you asking, where is the button to reset all the commanders? It is right there in this very little publication. You can also find it by going to the Captain Skill Rework publication, scrolling to the bottom. If you are not in Europe, just change the the portal, the EU to .com or .asia, and it'll be the same one.
Thought it looked good, and then I completely whiffed that salvo.
I think we need to try this again, by the way. I didn't think we got the best map for the kind of thing we were trying to do.
Really? I mean, I like this map. Like, this map is actually good.
I like the map as well, but I don't like it for
point.
But I don't like it for secondaries.
Okay. Do you not like it because you died so early on?
No, I mainly don't like it because there's no good way to get up close and personal in cover, at least on this flank.
So right now, I mean, I'm going to do. Oh god, it's like sometimes I hate that I'm so tryhard, but I'm going to go for the cap instead of chasing these two DDs just to make sure we're going to win it. It's also going to give me a little bit more of XP. These DDs are just trying to torp. They can't really do much about the cap zones. Maybe the set is going to try to bully the Yugomo and go for the C cap. But right now we lead with 2 cap zones, and we'll have to see.
Darth I is asking, is it possible to reset all ships twice? No, you can do the reset for all ships only once, but that's really just the point of it. Once you have them reset, you can then respec them at your leisure. And during the update 0.10.0, you can anyway respec any captain that you've spec'd for free as well.
Shoto was saying, is it intended that the Paolo Emilio can now reach over 60 knots as a World War II ship? I mean, with the skills, it is now possible, as far as I know, to actually reach over 60 knots. And I don't think this is, a big problem, but we'll keep an eye on it. But yes, it's not a bug. And Stormtrooper, about the mod station and Steam, I am not sure, to be honest. I would have to investigate. Can you please send me a forum PM about this, and I'll try to get an answer for you.
Captain Kyoshan's asking, the commander skill Dazzle. If you get spotted, you have 15 seconds with 20% dispersion.
Isn't it Captain Kloshans?
Kloshans?
I just like that name, so
maybe.
To highlight.
If I fire at that, so you get 50% as 15 seconds with 20% dispersion spread. If I fire at that target, my shells have a travel time of 16 seconds. Do I get that bad dispersion against the target? Yes, because the trajectory of your shell is determined when you click the button and the shells leave they don't magically steer mid-flight, right? So it's the point where you shoot, not the point where the shells land, that determines whether or not the dispersion was better or worse.
I actually got 2 hits on that set 46.
Nice.
On 18 kilometers. It's really nice. And we're going to get this cap doing the right thing. Chat. Like, always do the right thing. Go for objectives, not for damage.
Amundos says, if you don't want to reset your ships? Will everything be as pre-update? If you don't want to reset your ships, we have automatically given all of your commanders the recommended builds for that specific ship based on how many points you have. So you can just go on with life normally and play the game, or you can go in-game and change skills because you can reset them for free, but you don't have to do anything. But the skills have necessarily changed because the whole system has changed.
Yeah. There was a question that I know.
Doom Cookie says, so with Soviet radars lasting just as long as dazzling dispersion debuff, that means Soviet radars are now useless against DDs. But that's like... I'm sorry, 20% less dispersion doesn't mean you're not going to hit him. It just means that you're less likely to hit with less shells. It means it gives the DDs a little bit more survivability. Something which people have always been complaining about is how Soviet radars are, like OP, and they destroy all the destroyers and they can't run away from them because... Look,
Plus
I think
costs you 4 points.
destroyers deserve this as a change. And it'll hopefully make it more comfortable for them to contest caps, which is
also
what we
keep
want
in
them
mind,
for.
like all of these skills, just like for example RPF, they do come at a cost of points. So now I know the Fletcher was here. They all come at a cost of points. So you have to invest these 4 points to get Dazzle. Just like for example, if you as a let's say Petropavlovsk would have to invest points to have a longer range duration for the surveillance radar consumable. It's all it's all trade-offs. This is the whole concept of the captain. It's not like you can get everything, but you have to pick and decide what you want to focus on. If you want to focus on survivability as a DD, you might pick this over, for example, dealing additional damage because of you picking a different skill, for example, to boost your AP or AG or torpedo damage. It's all, balancing. And it's the same, for example, with the Deadeye skill. You get a 10% buff under certain circumstances, which is, if you talk about the max dispersion, let's actually take a look here, right? Let's take the turrets. So thank you, and we'll take a look at the artillery, and then we see here main battery, maximum dispersion 275 meters on the max range, right? Now, if you would deduct 10% here, it would be maximum dispersion of 250 meters on max range. This is still 250 meters. Yes, it's 10%, but it's not like suddenly your battleship turns into like a laser accurate guided missile that will home in on the enemy. Yes, it will give you more accuracy, but you're also further away, which, because the way accuracy works, right, the further away you are, the more dispersion you have, is kind of balancing out that factor. Yes, there are battleships that will probably benefit more, like the Slava or the Thunderer, but overall, these are ships that are already played kind of to that certain playstyle. Slava or let's say a Champagne is already kind of a bit of like a glass cannon, and it will give them this benefit for this specific playstyle.
Yes.
And maybe some players will pick this because they want to try it out. But at the end, it is one build out of many builds that you can build. And you will see this when you pick your skills. You will have to make decisions what to pick. And it's a 4-point skill. And there are other skills that potentially give you more survivability or an overall better performance, or it gives you more help against CVs, depending on what you like to see. So it's all part of a bigger system and not just one skill to rule them all. Captain Kreuzer says, will cruisers get secondary focused skill? Captain Kreuzer, I cannot say this for the very near future. I don't think there's going to be one in the very near future, but potentially in midterm future, we might add more skills. We now rework the entire system, and it also gives us the opportunity in the future to potentially add, a new tab of skills to cruisers, where we don't have to think about how is this going to affect DDs, how is it going to affect BBs, what if a CV picks that one. So it gives us also a bit more play room in that area, some wiggle room.
Someone's asking, why didn't my snowflakes reset with the update? They did the same snowflakes as before. They did not reset with the update, but we're letting you have 2 updates to complete them.
Which is amazing. And if you don't know the page yet, Mr. Comey, does somebody have it handy, the steel whaling, or in general, the steel whaling page from Rukenshia, which is a great page to track your own current progress for the different categories. If you, you can also just use the filter in-game, right? You could say like, hey, I don't know, do I still have, let's say, tier 8 or tier 9 ships left with a snowflake? You can actually use the filter here to see this. So, for example, for me, this would be these ships. And the nice thing is,
are you showing something right now?
Yes. Yes, I'm showing this right now.
Okay, this one. I thought you were showing the website. Right?
No.
The website.
You will see the snowflakes. You can actually filter by this. But Rukenshi built a really nice website where you can see how many you still have left, how many resources you can get in total, and which ships you still need to finish. Or if you, for example, have a ship that you had previously, for example, a ship that you sold and you just forgot about.
By the way, Matax was asking, it has likely been asked, but do you plan on making visual indicators in-game for whenever a captain skill is active? And yes, that is something we will be looking into.
Yes, this is. I fully agree. This is a bit of like a pain point. I had the same issue when I was playing on the PT, and you wanted to know, okay, is that skill active right now? This is currently a functionality we don't have in the game, but I hope that we will have it at some point in the foreseeable future, that you can also see whether a skill is active or not. Definitely a good feedback point.
So, do you want to do another? Do you want to do a different ship? Same ship.
You pick a ship. I will.
Look, I wouldn't mind.
Why don't we play tier 10 or tier 7? Because there was a question for the Flint.
I would. I had a lot of fun. I want to try this one more time. By
the way, we're running a survey about this update. So if you want to share your feedback about, for example, the commander skill rework, or for example, Lunar new activities, or clan brawls, or the update in general, please, click on that link, fill it out. it helps us improve the game for the future.
Yes, by the way, can I just point out one more really useful feature? Oh god, sorry. Game froze up on me there for a second. Is if you send a command, if you send... I'm ready. Of course, I can't send to reserve. So if you send a commander to reserve, there is, let's say, look, we're looking at our Montana. We go back to our core first. There's this amazing option here to just recall commander. It just puts the last commander that you were using back on there, which I really like. So this is, by the way, this is what I'm doing for secondaries on core first. Very similar, but on core first I have gone for fire prevention because let's face it, it's a core first.
Are we playing core first, not tier 7?
I thought you said tier 10.
Yeah, we can. Okay, so
Okay,
we also want to play Flint.
Okay, then I'll pick something at tier 7. That's also fine.
So
let's have a look. What would we like to play? Any suggestions for tier 7, gentlemen?
Chat, this is your chance to make Mr. Conway play something that you would really like him to play.
That I would really love to play, yes.
Yes.
No, Xandas is playing Flint.
Taking a look at the Flint, this is also where some of the new skills actually come in. And Vasil, please contact Mr. Conway because he's leading the division. We're very happy to play with you. So this is, for example, one of the new skills. It's heavy HE and SAP shells, which is quite interesting for a ship like the Flint because it says, and it's also one of the recommended skills here, damage of main battery HE shell plus 10%, SAP shells plus 10%. And if you have a main battery with a caliber of over 149 millimeters, then you will get a malus of 15% less detectability. So it will be, you will be spotted earlier, but that doesn't affect us because on the Flint we have 127 millimeters. I picked here Pyrotechnician, which is the kind of like old demo expert. It only gives 1% of bonus, but it's also only for 2 points. So it's cheaper, but also has less effect. I do love Adrenaline Rush. Now, of course, we could pick Inertia Fuse for HE shells. I think I'm not going to use this. I'm still always torn between this. The problem is, if you use it, here you will see that you get 26 millimeter of HE shell armor penetration, which is quite nice, but you have only half of the fire chance on the target. So this is something that you can think about whether you want to do this or not. I don't want to do this right now. I'll build it like this, and then we have here what could we go for? Outnumbered, probably not, but increases the reload of main battery after an enemy has been spotted within the standard detectability range. This could be actually quite nice to have 8% buff of main battery reload time, or since we are probably going to use our smoke and we need it to survive, you can pick this. We don't have the highest HP pool, which is okay. We're going to go for this, and then maybe with 3 additional points.
Would you play Atlanta with or without IFH? I think I'm going to go without and try and set fires.
Main battery. Look, I might actually sacrifice this because if you're spotted, people want to have fun with us anyway, but what are we going to pick? This doesn't really make sense. No, let's actually stick with that. And, well, it doesn't really make a huge difference. Actually, we'll take this. Okay. I'll just build it like this currently without IFHE. The good thing is I can use my Halsey even though he's trained for the Montana, just like as before with the Lutyens. You can set up the commander for your premium or special ships. The Flint is a special ship, so you can set him up without retraining the commander, and you can still get the benefits if you want to use it. So these talents would still work if he gets triggered. Cool, very pretty ship. It will have the problem of a main battery firing range of 11.1 kilometers. So I haven't played it in this build yet, so we'll just see how it goes. Signal flags, we will definitely take our wargaming flags. I hope you guys played a little bit of ranked and got to try out the new camouflages like the gold camouflage, which looks quite blingy.
It's unfortunately not available for people who don't make it to gold.
Well, there should be a price. And then we also have
yes.
we're going to use the permanent one. Signals, if you want, you can always by now go for mount recommended signals and just get a little bit of, less clicking. And we're going to use a little bit of this because why not? I have a lot of them, and I finally broke the 1 billion credit mark. Okay, Mr. Conway, I think I'm ready to go.
I'm almost ready to go. Do you want to let's have you can give me some feedback on my build.
Okay, let's take a look at Mr. Conway's build.
So this is what I've gone for the Atlanta. I think.
Are you playing Atlanta? Okay.
Yes. Chat requested we do a double.
Why don't you try IFHE then?
Why
don't?
The
difference.
Because I
mean, you decide. You decide. I don't want to influence you.
Look, I think I'm better off trying to set fires. Right, the fire chance is at 7%, and I have a lot of rate of fire. I've gone for the heavy HE and SAP shells. On Atlanta, it actually doesn't give a drawback because it's got small enough caliber, so it's a flat 10% buff to damage, which is nice of HE. The top grade gunner, because I think that there'll be opportunities where you'll be able to snack on some destroyers that are detected close by. I've gone for consumables enhancement for a little bit more radar duration, consumable expert mandatory, superintendent because I want to have that extra radar, and last stand because let's face it, it's a bit squishy.
Yeah,
but most importantly, I've gone for the glorious camo.
Yeah. There was a question here in chat, or more of a comment from Tide Crasher, who says, "World of Warships, please teach me the ways of hitting the citadel of an enemy ship." Look, I can be here quite straightforward. If you want to hit the citadel of a ship, you want to hit it where it hurts. If you want to figure out where citadels are located, you can open up the armor layout. I will minimize this window here, and you can strip it down, right? You have here fore and aft end armor. You have the superstructure. You have the auxiliary room armor plus this armor. And now you will see here, actually let me unready because this text is annoying to show this. So here you can see where the citadels are located at. Now, if you want to have the highest chance of success to hit these very crucial parts, you know that you need to usually get through several layers of armor, or the citadel is located beneath the waterline. So what you want to do is go for my piece of advice in general. Underneath the smokestacks or underneath the turrets is the location of citadels. Yes. Depending on what caliber you have and what kind of armor the enemy has, you need to kind of adjust where you aim. If it's a lightly armored target, you might have a chance of over-penetrating with very large shells because by the time the shell fuse was lit, it might have already passed through the ship and not explode within the citadel. So this is why you sometimes get overpens. And if you have a too small caliber, you might just bounce off. So if you want to play around with this, my recommendation is go into a training room, load AP, and pick some targets that you usually meet and figure out what works best for you. But overall, flat broadside is usually the best way. Under the smokestacks, under the turrets, this is where it gets juicy in terms of damage.
Ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Why can't matchmaking distribute radar ships more evenly? The horror if you play DDs and radar ships are 0 versus 4. So Doc Strange, this is always an ongoing discussion. Overall, ships that have radar lack other aspects or other consumables, unless it's like a very focused ship on, let's say, for example, American light cruisers have a lot of utilities, but then they have, for example, bad shell arcs, they don't have the range, they don't have the armor, don't have the HP pool. So it's kind of like a mixed bag of what kind of tools ships have available. So this is why we don't really want to balance around just one consumable in itself, because the balance is in kind of the distribution of the tools available to ships. Plus, it would really affect matchmaking quite significantly if there would be an additional factor. And we always keep an eye on this. And never say never, but at least for now, it's not intended to be changed. But I understand that especially if you play a DD and there's a significant amount of radars on the enemy team, that it becomes more difficult to play, and you kind of have to find a way as a team to play around that and adjust your playstyle. Spot the enemy DDs differently, focus fire, and use the tools available to the other ships to counter this.
So you want to share radar and schmuck?
Well, we definitely need a spot, and unfortunately, the Mahan is going to the other side, so this is going to be a bit tricky. I think if we just sit in one smoke, we need somebody to spot.
Well, I can offer you a radar.
Okay.
That's the best I
Well,
can
we
do.
only the enemy team has a Mahan as well, so we might actually get away with it. There are 2 raiders here, 2 Baltimore, so this is always something you have to keep in mind, right? And we'll have to play around with our range. We only have 11.1 kilometers of range. We do have smoke though. You can always check when you're spotted in smoke. In here, and you see 4.6 kilometers within smoke. So this is something we have to play around. We also have here the hydroacoustic surge. Actually, let's get Mr. Conway here into the game with us. We can push here closer to the cap. We just have to be very careful. I'm going to position myself in a way that in case this cap starts ticking, we know there's the enemy DD here and we can just smoke up. So you have to play a bit more carefully here, but you do get the smoke. So this is like you're kind of
Get out jail free card.
No, just get out of jail free card. This is kind of like what you base your playstyle on. So we can't really go into the cap because the Baltimores would probably radar us from these islands. So we want them to come towards us. Right now, we're going to play this a bit defensively and see what happens. Okay, enemy DD seems to be in A, which is good for us. And then we'll need the enemy team, which is, by the way, I'm reversing Conway.
I'm
going to back up here in towards the cap. There's the shores. He's slightly out of my range. And we got the Leon coming in. So in the beginning, it's going to be a bit of a slower match. We don't see any of the Baltimores just yet. We are located, so I guess one of the Balties is around here. There we go. Okay, so we'll just highlight him. 11.8 kilometers.
I can't really open fire
No,
in the open.
We'll have to... Oh, both of them are here. Okay. Good thing is that our ships will push these ships away, and then I hope the Leon keeps pushing, and we'll punish him. USS Thunderfish, nice name. So yes, this is a bit of a very careful playstyle that I'm deploying here right now, or applying to my ship. But I know the limitations of
Baltimore's turning in.
Okay, so I'm going to now drop my smoke, and then we'll unleash hell. Oh no, he's unspotted. That's unfortunate. This is the problem of not having the DD here with us. Okay, we'll have to potentially have to reposition, because if these Baltimores are not opening up, I don't want to be in that position. So we'll actually move around here. This is why I don't like the double Atlanta without a DD, or the Atlanta plus Flint. Watch out, the Baltimore is probably moving into radar range. I'm giving you a smoke out of here, and then we'll try to get the Balti over here. Balti's coming up.
He's still out of radar range.
Okay, I'm not opening up. Here's the Balti. Oh, I would love to. Oh, if he stays behind that island. How is he spotted? We should be unspotted now, so we can probably just farm him behind the island. Because nothing else can spot us. Nothing is close enough. We can actually abuse the limited range. This is something you kind of have to learn with ships that have certain limitations, that you can play around this. You can even use it to your advantage. Right now, we're not spotted. The Baltimore, if it stays spotted, we can just keep farming him and reverse just like he does, and just get our damage this way. And then we'll have to fight our way to this island. And Conway, you can probably...
I'm going to try and cap.
Exactly.
I'm going to reverse back into it.
And Mark V, we can give you the link, but you can also just find it if you go to the Commander Skill dedicated publication and just scroll to the very bottom. By the way, if you scroll to the very bottom of the update publication, you can find 1 day of premium time. Pro tip, read the publications to the very end. Okay, that Baltimore is going to raid us soon. I can feel it. I will drop torpedoes here if he wants to push up. Oh, there we go, there we go, there we go.
Okay, look, I'm going dark now because I'm going to try and capture.
Yeah, no, like I wanted to push up to this island, but now the Baltimore is here. So I'll need focus fire.
I don't have a shot at him right now.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect him to push into this. I was expecting the other Baltimore to try to push. This is gonna go not very... Oh god, I was too aggressive. I was too aggressive. I was too aggressive. Can you turn into my... I'm gonna be gone here, Conway. Yep. I was too aggressive. That was my fault. I didn't expect this Baltimore to be that aggressive. Unfortunately, our battleships are very, very, very far in the back to not support us against the Balti.
Don't know if he radared already or he's not interested. Oh, there he is. Can we 18 seconds? Can we? No, we're gonna run.
But the Balti's definitely paying for this move.
He's reversing, okay. Okay, well, the Baltimore's dead.
And Grand Admiral says a lot of BBs seem to be picking Deadeye. Of course, you will see a lot of players in general trying skills that have not been available in the old skill system, just to try out how it works. Did you just say, unfortunately, the BBs were far back? Yes, absolutely, Desert Rat. If you watch the streams, you know my opinion about BBs sitting in the back. And I understand where this is coming from with introducing the Deadeye skill, but it doesn't change the fact that as a battleship, just staying in the back is going to be not very helpful for your team or for winning the battle for yourself, because you're not able to help with objectives, you're not able to help your cruisers or your DDs. This is just a lesson you have to learn as a battleship player. While it might be good at times to stay a bit further back and not just YOLO in, to find a good balance in between where you are on the battlefield to achieve that objective. Well, you can't get close. Yes, you can. This is like it's 1 point, like one skill out of your entire skill set. I'm sure that if you, for example, pick Deadeye, you will also pick other skills that help either your damage application or, for example, help your survivability. So if you want to get the most out of it, you kind of have to adapt your playstyle. Sometimes the Deadeye skill will be triggered. Sometimes you have to make different choices to be able to apply damage, for example, or to increase the overall damage you can deal in the game. If you're just far back and, for example, nothing is spotting for you, you also won't hit anything. It's, pros and cons. Is there a plan to buff the Flint Rage? So, Rustyslav, right now, we applied a range buff to the Atlanta, rolling the AFT into the Atlanta, but we haven't really done this for the Flint just yet. We're looking at the Flint and how she's performing without this change, and then based on how she will perform, we will make changes. So it's for us because she has smoke, which gives her a different playstyle than the Atlanta, even though it's the same hull, right? It has a different approach in how you play it, and if we see the need to help her, we will do it.
I'm going to die here.
What's pushing you, the Leon?
Yeah. The Leon, unfortunately, has 1 or 2 gun barrels.
1 or 2. But he's also a shotgun, so, potentially he might get unlucky and not hit you. But that looks like that. All the HP you need, 500.
He's going to kill me with secondaries, I think.
Yes, unfortunately he will.
Yes. There we go. At least he got scored as expert for it.
Yeah, enemy team played this well, so have to give it to them. Their battleships were definitely a bit more aggressive, and this is actually what I've been talking about. That yes, your battleships can stay further in the back, try to get that Deadeye triggered, but at the end of the day, it's all about positioning, supporting your teammates, in able to get map control and win the battle. So.
Enthralling 15k damage match. Look, it was a tier 7 match and tier 9 matchmaking with light cruiser. This is how you have to play sometimes.
Look, Atlanta has always been a very risky ship to play. It can be super fun if you get into the right position. It can also be super challenging if you get into, let's say, tricky matchmaking or into a map that doesn't really support it. It has a very unique playstyle. So that's, whoever, like, if you own the Atlanta, you know exactly what I mean. Sometimes it's trickier, sometimes it's absolute fun.
I think it's time to ride Shiny and Chrome.
Oh, okay. There was a request for playing the Smoland, and I haven't tried her yet. So let's actually, I don't have the snowflake on it anymore. Let's try the Smoland. I haven't built it yet. So let's go do that. The Smoland in general is a ship that is very good to contest camps. It has great guns. It has good torpedoes, not outstanding torpedoes, but still something to not completely disregard, but you don't get smoke. So something to keep in mind. And now, I might actually go for this. I like the new Liquidator skill, which gives you a 30% buff to the chance of causing a flooding, which might be interesting, but also preventive maintenance. I think I'm going to go for preventive maintenance. We are going to increase the duration of our radar, because the ship does get radar. You definitely want to take last stand. I want to get additional HP, so I'm picking survivability expert, and concealment is still king. So this is my pick right now. I still have 7 points left. Now, as a DD, Adrenaline Rush is great. It got more expensive by 1 point because it was actually very cheap for what it did. But you also get now a buff in AA damage. Now, the other thing is, what can you go for? You can go, for example, a new skill which is called Swift in Silence.
Evan just pointed out it's also a very handsome commander.
Oh, yes, it is. I wonder who's the model. So Swift in Silence gives you a 8% buff in ship speed if you're not spotted, but it leads to a 5% decrease in reload time for the main battery. So it reduces in the sense of like you have a longer reload time, so it's a nerf. We don't want to go for that. Dazzle is interesting. The thing is, we're going to gunboat probably quite a bit, so Dazzle might not be as effective as on other ships. Especially for a torpedo boat, I would probably pick this. We could go here for main battery and a specialist, which gives us a 5% bonus to the reload time and 10% bonus to AA damage, which I'm going to take. And then we could actually buff our range. We have 11.4 kilometers right now, and I'm tempted to take this because I'm not sure about this. Fearless Brawler.
Can I just answer a question? So yes. Kimza Bimza says, about the flood chance, plus 30%, how does that work or help if your troops already have a 3 to 400% flood chance? So you have to remember that the 3 to 400% flood chance, it becomes like definitely less than 100% once your torpedo impacts the enemy, because the enemy has things, has a natural resistance to it. He's got a torpedo belt. And giving you an extra 30% is just going to increase the chance of getting a flood. And you'll know that even though you have a 400% flooding chance, you don't always get a flood with a hit. And that's why it'll still give you a benefit.
So, Evan, I leveled you up. So we're going to get Adrenaline Rush rather instead. This is going to be my 21 commander skill set for the Smoland. If you have any questions about like what else could you pick, you could also go, for example, for the damage of main battery AP shells, which is an interesting skill. If you play, for example, UKDDs, I think this is a very good pick. I didn't pick priority target. This is something I'm myself, I'm not 100% sure about whether dropping priority target is a good or bad thing. I got so used to it that it's a bit tricky for me.
He says he felt it.
He felt it. Oh.
Yes.
And yeah, in terms of like these skills, as you can see, they are, they work with certain builds, not for all builds, and it's up for you to decide what you want to get. There's still the IFHE skill here. It's now a 3-point skill instead of a 4-point skill. We can also get the torpedo tube's reload time. I preferred this setup for now, but if you feel, for example, getting just faster torpedo reload, that's definitely an option. Always, like choices, and I feel with the new system, you have to make a lot of different choices, and you need to figure out for yourself what you would like to take. And I hope you find some interesting builds. Okay, I'm ready to go, Mr. Conway.
Okie dokie, let's do it.
We got a question from Al-Hakim. Update on the Crescentis and Mr. Conway's OnlyFans page. No update yet. I'm still trying to not have that.
Sorry. So he was just asking a question again. There we go.
Okay. Lion Drone, by the way, could I purchase users
No.
for 9,000 shiny doubloons? No.
I already told him, Line Drum, it was funny last year and it worked last year. It's not going to work again. So I would kindly ask you now, in the interest of stopping spam, to converse with us normally in the future.
Do you have plans to add real achievements to the game, which are to be gained over time to the game that will allow the free-to-play players to get things like the players with the deep pockets? Well, so we added a lot of things actually to the game that allows you to get access to content that you might not have access before. The example I would give is, like my prime example is free XP and coal. Free XP allows you to get ships like the Smollett or the Nelson, which are premium ships. You do get access to ships through the armory with coal. Ships like, for example, the Unshine that you can also get now with the combat mission groups for this update. And you also can earn steel. What's WoW?
Just the matchmaking.
Okay. So there are already ways to get access to this kind of content. And you can also earn at least smaller amount of doubloons. For example, with the combat missions we introduced for this update, where on login you get 500 doubloons, you get 6 missions to earn 100 doubloons each for these, so in total up to 1,100. So we kind of give these opportunities. And we also have a lot of containers in the game where you have the chance to get lucky, get a ship out of the container. You get super containers for various activities. Just for daily, containers, you can get lucky and get a super container. You also get the option, for example, for the anniversary, there's super container drops for each of the tier 10 ships. So there's a lot of stuff that we hand out for free. But on the other hand, we also have to make money to be able to keep developing this game and keep everything running. And make sure that this game is going to be around for a very long time and that you get to enjoy it for many years to come.
Yes, somebody was just saying there's a mission to earn multiple high caliber or dreadnought medals, which is not possible because you can only get one in 24 hours. That's not true. You can get as many achievements per day as you want. You will only get the reward for it once, though. But you can get the achievement unlimited times.
Will we getting new container access in the armory? I still need to open one for the French 2 flanks edge of my favorite line. Alchemy, potentially in the future. We add quite a few additional containers over time. After a certain amount of time, once they were released and introduced into the game. The recent doubloon payouts have been rather weak, in your opinion. I don't know what you mean in terms of payout, but I mean, this is free premium currency.
Maybe recruiting station?
But that depends on your, recruiting station recruiters, like your shipmates. So just...
Because it's essentially a cashback. So you get a percentage of what they purchase in-game as doubloons.
I definitely do not want to open up on a double Smolensk here. Or is it only one Smolensk? I did a different division. Okay, can we touch him?
I am trying, but I have German accuracy to contend with.
Okay. Well, I launched torps. Maybe I can catch him. Oh, somebody's radaring, and that radar should allow me to also shoot him. There's the Shimmer. Let's get the Smolensk out of the game first. Can you please comply and eat my torps? That would be very, very much appreciated. Oh, somebody, is he dead? Not yet. We got him. Okay, first blood, always nice to get. And then we can slowly but steadily go hunt that Shimmer without running into the cover.
Please. Not very happy about the
Shimmer?
existence of Shimmer cows in my match. As the Kurfürst. Generally, that's...
Yeah, that's... Smaland. Smaland is good. Smaland has a...
Smaland eats Shimmers for breakfast, yes.
If you hit it. But overall, like, what I want to say is, like, that's the it has a good mix of... It has... Oh, that Shimmer just went poof.
Nice.
Good, which means I can cap here.
I'm going to go around the outside. I'm just going to brawl them. There's also
watch
the
out,
Hakuryu back
torps.
there. Oh, we're going to catch the Hakuryu in the corner.
And there's also the Kurfürst here, being absolutely farmed to death.
Wow, by the time I get into range to shoot him, he's going to be dead.
He whiffed his salvo, nice.
I will have to just give attention to Khabarovsk.
Yes, Khabar's trying to get me. Okay, we get a fire on the Kurfürst. I'll just try to...
Sorry, I touched him inappropriately.
Nice, good job. Okay. So that's the flank kind of taken care of. So we get to push the Thunderer next.
And he's already in my secondary range.
Doc, Strange Food, different ships, different skills.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
we don't get to push the Thunderer either.
Okay, the Ohio just absolutely nuked him.
Look, I helped.
Look, I dealt 10k
I got one
damage,
Citadel
and I feel like I didn't really do much.
No, me neither. I went 43,000 damage and half the enemy team has evaporated.
Yeah, they kind of YOLO'd in here. I'm not sure, like, why. But
It must be because they've got Deadeye.
I mean, this Thunderer is now feeling the love of our entire team. DSCV, what are you doing? Okay, not going for me. How can you get 2 Dreadnought achievements in one battle? You should not be able to. Because for you to be able to
No,
get
in
the
a single
Dreadnought,
battle, you cannot.
because you get it for surviving the battle, so you get only one. But I mean, several players can get that Dreadnought achievement. If you see this, that a player got 2 Dreadnought achievements in one battle, please report it. It will be a bug.
And if the mission says you have to do this, this is also not ideal. Please let us know so we can...
I guess it's over
Possible.
any amount of battles.
It would probably be.
So soon, TM, we will be in range of the Thunderer, and we will also open up while we're
I'm
on our
going
way
for the
to
Hakuryu.
get that sea cap. I am not going to chase the CV. Oh, it's 38 points, so not going to last very long. This
That's
match.
why I'm saying I'm rather banking on getting a single volley on the Hakuryu than anything else. We need to try this again after. This was not really good.
Yeah, but I'll take a different ship. I hope you saw, like, whoever wanted to see the Smollett in action. Like, what makes it interesting? We didn't even get to use the radar. You get 7.5 kilometers of range, and with the new skill plus the upgrade, you get 26.4 seconds of action time for the radar, which can be very long for the enemy DD if you play it right.
Thank you, Cranberry. Oh, hello, Hakuryu.
Didn't pay attention to the CV and paid for it. Okay, that was probably the...
Look, could you do me a favor and die so I can farm for a little bit longer?
I might actually, because there's a Smolensk right next to me. Nope, there we go. Whoop! That was greed, but as you can see, the game is almost over, and I
Sometimes you
decided
need to be greedy.
Yeah, it's the enemy team unfortunately completely evaporated, and we have 3 caps. We're about to get the 4th cap if the Harugumo is going into the cap, so unfortunately, this is not a very long match. There's the Smolensk. Are you getting the Hakuryu?
No, someone else's.
Oh, okay. And they have 1 point.
5.
Now 5, yeah, because they still have the 1 cap ticking for them. But it's not going to last very long. I would have liked for the Yamato to potentially eat my torpedoes. Do they have the range? Oh no, the game is over. My torpedoes would have hit the Yamato.
Do we want one more time?
Sure. Will there be a free XP conversion promo before the Smolensk becomes obtainable? Mr. Algamas, I honestly don't know. But, I mean, you can wait until the last day and then just, do it at the end. Oh, Painter says, it was very disappointing to see that there were no skills that gave plus googliness to eyes with the new commander rework. Will this be remedied in future patches? Painter, I'm also disappointed. And I will make sure that this will be properly addressed internally.
Yes.
How I change my commander ship type skills if I did not have that ship type yet?
You go to the magic link, reset all of the skills, and then you can do it in the future.
Yes. So you can't do it right now if you don't have that ship type yet. But you can reset the skills and do it this way. And otherwise, I mean, you weren't wouldn't be able to do it before as well.
Does the Dazzle skill work against planes? I am entirely unsure. What does the description say? Let's have a look.
Are you playing the same ships again?
I would like to do. I would like to.
Okay, I'll try.
Secondary.
Okay, I'll try Hindenburg. I've been playing around with my Hindenburg build because there's an option to go like for an incredibly fun long range build. Well,
No,
incredibly fun is-
it specifically says shells. So otherwise, it would say shells and rockets.
Yes. Or should I play Minnow? Chat, Minnow or Hindenburg? And Jaskin says, Chrysanthus, no secondary battery boost on Mikasa, sad face. Look, I've been lobbying for this for a very long time. Still didn't get it. So, look, I keep trying. Can you explain to me what for is the Interceptor Commander?
Yes. It's it enables you to drop fighters that engage enemy planes quicker. So if you're someone who likes to provide cover in your CV for your own team from the enemy CV, this will make it easier to quickly drop fighters and provide fighter cover. Has a drawback, of course, as well, but at least the time from when you activate the consumable until your planes actually engage is going to be shorter.
Yeah. Then RPPD, so I guess Rapid Fire, says the meta is now spam from the back. How does this offer different playstyles? Look, Rapid Fire, right now, people are going to try a lot of different skills. You will see probably quite a few Kufus who are trying to brawl. You will see ships like Thunderous Lavas and, Yamatos trying the Deadeye skill. And over the course of the next few weeks, this will all settle down a bit when players try the different builds. And then we'll see, how players are using it. And if we need to make changes, we will make changes. But it's quite natural that especially the new skills will be tried first. On a battleship, Deadeye sounds interesting. So I'm sure that a lot of players will try it out. And then we'll see what we need to change. And sorry, I'll just use my Hindenburg and see how this... And by the way, I'm sure we showed this earlier, or I'm not sure whether we showed this earlier. You can recall your commander. So if you use that commander like me, the Hindenburg on a different ship, the Günther Lutyens, you can just say recall commander without going through, several steps. And you can just say, I'm ready for battle and go. I have my account linked to Twitch, but they still say I need to do it to have rewards to see the live. Tiga Paul, if you have your account linked in Twitch and from the wargaming.net account, it should work. If you have any issues with this from Twitch's side, please contact their customer support. Otherwise, you can try to just reset the account link on your account management from World of Warships.eu or NA or where you're from.
Yes, if anybody wants to reset their skills, if you are not from EU, I just didn't want to spam all 4 links anytime. You just have to change the, the .eu into .com or .asia or .ru, and it'll work. The URL is the same for all regions.
Yeah. And Grand Admiral has a completely different question. Can you comment on when we'll get new Free XP or coal ships? Not right around the corner. The next resource ship that we talked about is the Austin for steel that is going to go into testing. In terms of what will be the next Free XP or coal ship, I unfortunately don't have any info, but I'm sure there will be one. There's a bug in the game where if you log in back after being booted off, entire screen turns black and you can just see ship names and their health. Do you know anything about this? So, Sparshi, please, in such cases, send us a customer support ticket with a bug report and describe the issue, that it's reproducible. I haven't seen this bug report yet, but please make sure to send it over and we'll take a look at it and fix it as soon as possible. And also make sure that you don't have any old mods, for example, installed that might lead to issues like this.
Yeah. Darty's asking, are there any Twitch Prime rewards this month? There will be Twitch Prime rewards again shortly, don't worry. And so, again, Spearhead Warrior, the link is for EU. If you just change where it says .eu to .com, it's the same link for US. Otherwise, if you're looking for the way to reset it, if you go to the Commander Skills publication, scroll to the bottom, and there's a link to the reset page there.
Stevie's asking, what about Sansang or Wujing? I thought they were supposed to be in 0.10.0. They are here. You can just take a look at the armory and you will find them. Okay, I will turn here slightly because I'm being way too aggressive. Going to turn away slightly and then provide help for our DDs. I am not running like a long range setup in a sense of using the new skills. I'm actually using a very classic setup here for the Hindenburg.
I don't want to go straight up Brawl in here yet, I think.
Okay, let's have some fun with the Petrol. The Public is probably going to fire on us. The Petrol is just going to try to park here, so we'll try to force him out of there. There's the Harugumo. Okay, fire, we can delete that. Okay, against that Petrol, we should be able to... Oh no, he's going dark. Let's see if we can still get him. Ah, he's firing, okay. Should be able to put a lot of pressure on him.
as well there.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm gonna... That's
can you
fires. I'm gonna turn away.
Okay, can you put your secondaries on the Petrol though?
I can't. They have a limited range. It's too far away. 12.5 kilometers is pretty good, but...
not good enough, yeah?
Not good enough for that Petrol, no. Good enough for that gearing, though.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just try to set him on fire. Like, the Petrol is quite aggressive. And we'll be able to... I think with our combined forces, we'll be able to bring him down.
Right, there's my second set of double fires. I'm running away. Oh, I looped some over the island.
Nice. Good job.
But he's not quite down.
I hope myself was going to take care. Oh, come on. I think you got a heal off. Unfortunately.
Oh, I'm going to have to regain quite a lot of HP before I can go brawling again.
Was it mostly AG?
All of it, yeah. Except for that Ohio volley coming in there. Oh, crap.
And Hard Target says, don't want to moan, but I need months to get through doing this commanded change with all my ships. Won't have any time to play the game. This is hassle and stress. This puts me off playing the game. Sorry to be negative. Look, I thank you for providing the feedback. And it's not moaning. I completely understand you. I have a lot of ships as well, and it will take time. It will take effort, right? And you need to test them and then get back into it and then kind of figure out what you want to do on what ship. We understand. It's unfortunately necessary to make this change. We don't make these changes lightly. We don't make changes to the commander system every few weeks or updates. This is something that we think about for a long time before we apply it. Now, at least in terms of like making the changes, the changes have been also applied automatically to your commanders if you trust the recommendation system. And otherwise, my recommendation to you is take ships that trust that are kind of representative for certain playstyles. Try the skills there, reset the commanders for all ships, and then apply them step by step once you know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But yes, it's unfortunately, it will take time. It will cost you, quite a few battles in a sense of you will be rather in the port interface than in the battle interface. But we don't have a better way to do this. We really thought about how we can make this easier for you and like least painful experience. That's why we, for example, offer you to reset ships manually or to reset all at once or to just go for the recommended ones to give you the least painful option.
Yeah, there was another question there. How do you reset commanders that you no longer have ships for the nation of? What you'll have to do in that case, unfortunately, is purchase a free tier 1 ship, assign it to that ship briefly, and just dismiss them immediately.
Yep.
I know it's not ideal, but it is something I hope we can improve in future.
Nice, Petro's gone. Should make life easier for our DDs. Now let's have some fun with the Republik, and I hope I get to use AP finally because I'm using the AP skill. Come on, Repu. We spotted, thank you.
Those gearing tops there?
Yes.
Is the daring gonna be able to get out?
Let me try this. Yeah, the Haru unfortunately is getting found here. No, moved, okay. Okay, the Republik is going to show broadside soon, and this is where my Hindenburg is going to have additional fun. It's going to be a juicy salvo, hopefully. because I didn't aim well enough. He should be gone. Good job. And then we can push in here, help with the Haru, help with the gearing. And you're hydering. Perfect.
I'm hydering,
The
but
Haru
I'm
will
getting a
try
bit
to farm you,
desperate.
by the
I actually went and repaired a single fire.
Oh no! By the way, we can show both gameplays, which is mine. Okay, got a good hit on the Haru. Oh, he lost his engine. Now you repaired it. Good. Maybe
Yeah,
we can
but,
set a fire on him. The next servo.
It's gonna be all she wrote for me here.
Come on, you can do it. I believe.
It's not a question of belief.
It's also
unfortunately.
interesting that, you know, the secondaries are firing earlier now, even on cruisers, so that might give some fun options. Hello, Haru. Please fire.
Uh-oh.
And here, I don't understand. No cap, 550 other cheat. Just I look, this is sometimes I don't understand. This is a very basic mechanic of the game, how points work. You get points for destroying ships. So this is the explanation for the point difference.
The Halland, unfortunately, snuck some torpedoes in. He's around here. Just be aware. G7.
Okay. Good to know. Okay, we're going to get to cap this. Okay.
How is XP really calculated? Mind-wise, unfortunately, there's like a quick, not a quick answer to this. It's a very complex calculation that it takes a huge amount of factors into account. But, you know, like mainly you get points for dealing damage, spotting, capping, winning. And to a certain extent, also potential damage.
Yeah, there's a really good how it works video on this that I would highly recommend you check out about the economy of the game. And you can find it on YouTube. Just go to the official World of Warships channel and look for the how it works economy video. Oh, there's the Harugumo. Haru, do you want to dance? Do you want to dance? You want to turn in? Eat my torps. He's not going to survive that long. Oh, but the Sao might be coming in. Nice, good job.
And
Goliath.
he's gone.
Oh, this game is going to be over very quickly. Did Wargaming consider simplifying easing the missions and directives requirement during 10.0 and 10.1 in light of time sunk that the skill viewer creates? Would you consider it? Argus, I mean, we always consider also these aspects, but I think the missions in the mission groups are not that difficult. So we're not going to change that. And I hope you don't have a big problem with the mission requirements. But we also have a survey up. If you think that they should be easier, you can also let us know in the survey.
Why does Strasbourg's winter camo look different in port to in-game? I mean, we have some camouflages that have some difference, especially when it comes to like celebratory ones where some of the elements aren't present in game. You also have things like on many ships, you'll notice in port they have lifeboats, and then in battle they have not. Because also historically, they often had to like throw shit overboard to make sure they could turn their guns and, you know, like that things wouldn't catch on fire. Everybody learned very quickly that if you have stuff on your deck, like float planes, for example, this is not a good idea. Much better to just throw the float plane in the ocean than have it
away from my love, Yamato.
explode on your ship. Mick says, will you extend the time for resets to allow us to figure out the skills rework? It's not planned right now. We think the month is going to be enough, especially considering you also have the option to just drop all the skills and then do it bit by bit. But experiment around with it, play with it, and then let us know towards the end.
Oh, look where the Holland is at. Yamato's going to go down, and that's pretty much the game.
Yeah, 2 strings of lantern lights are missing a game. Yeah, that's intended, because lantern lights are usually not something you'd have up in combat. I mean, to be fair, a lot of the other elements of this camouflage probably as well, but for everybody's sake, some of those things are removed. It also keeps the amount of objects that have to be rendered for everyone down, etc.
Okay, so
Oh, Zhao in the beautiful space camouflage there.
easy win.
Yes. Haven't really had. I had a fantastic Corvus secondary game on the German stream, but it kind of also, with secondary, but they're situational, and you kind of need the enemy to be willing to actually compete with you, otherwise they'll just lose.
Yeah, Tora says 100. Tora TT says 116 secondary hits, 38k damage. I'd say secondary is alive and kicking. Look, Conway also had a battle with 200k damage in the German stream.
It's on the same bot.
Don't base your feedback on one battle. That's my personal request of you. Please, just go try it out. If you think it's bad, tell us. But base it on experience. Not like you saw one battle of a streamer or you played one battle in the Kurfürst, it didn't work out as you intended, and you say like, okay, it's completely useless, I'll respec. Go give it a try. You know how different battles can turn out to be, right? Sometimes you have a good battle, sometimes you have a bad battle. Give it a few battles to see how it works for you. For example, the secondaries. By now, the German batteries got a secondary buff that we applied with the update. You will now get a longer range for the secondaries, so you get to shoot further, and you also have not anymore the limitation if you use the skill to manually select. It used to be the manual secondary skill where you would have to manually select the target, and then you would get a 60% bonus on tier 7 buff. And now you get a 35% bonus to the accuracy, and you also get to shoot several targets at the same time without selecting the target. So it's pros and cons, but overall I think for German battleships it should actually be a slight buff, or at least perform roughly on the same level as before. There's no reason why it shouldn't.
Okay, somebody says you wanted to show how to get Sanzang or Wujing. It's just in the armory, guys.
Distance doesn't matter if it's not accurate, but I love Road Rash. The thing is, we buffed them to, if you combine the buff plus the skill, you're at like 50% increased accuracy compared to 60% before. Plus you get additional range. Plus you get to shoot several targets. So you might not be exactly as effective on a single target as before, but if you are surrounded by several targets, you're going to be more efficient, and you get to shoot at a longer range already, which might give you that additional fire, for example.
I was actually wrong. It sounds like we were both wrong.
What?
Well, Sanzang and Wujing aren't actually available yet in the armory. Because right now we have available Fenyang, Irian, Sili Wang.
Ah, yes.
Yes, please accept our humble apologies and wait a few days.
Yes.
They'll come.
They shall arrive soon.
Yes. Okay, and with that, I think we are going to wrap it up slowly.
Let's see whether there are a few more questions. I'm sure you guys have some questions. Let's see whether we can maybe take 5 more.
Okay.
I know it's been a long day for you.
That's not the issue. The issue is
you have to go pee.
I'm gonna.
Okay, so while Mr. Conway takes a bio break,
I'll be back.
I can put the camera here so I can take a look at your questions. Chat server in-game, can you fix it? You can't make a division. Oh, Norse, can you send us a ticket about this and try to relog with your game? Can you tell where we can find the missing captains in reserve? So there shouldn't be any captains missing. If you're looking for captains, let me actually quickly bring up the game. If you want to find your captains, they're basically now kind of distributed via nation. So let's go into the game. So if you, for example, click on your commander here and you want to change commander, you can see all of your German commanders here in the reserve, and here you can see the ones that are assigned to a ship, and that's true for every nation. If you miss a nation, you can, like, my personal piece of advice for you is go into the tech tree. You should have for each of these trees there should be one free tier 1 ship, and you can actually then select it from over there. So this is obviously not the case, for example, for Commonwealth, because you would only have a commander here if you have the one ship that I have, the Perth. For Italy, for example, you have the Eritrea. For Pan Asia, it would be the Chengan, and so on. So this is where you would actually find them. And Mr. Conway is back. When will the Monarch be patched? Why would the Monarch be patched?
It's leaky.
Okay, so we'll fix the leak. No, but otherwise, in terms of balance, the Monarch should be fine. Actually, there's a funny nickname here on Twitch. Usually, please nerf the Monarch. But at least as far as I know, the Monarch is doing okay and doesn't need either a buff or a nerf.
Did he wash his hands? What do you think I am? An animal?
Are there new XP ships on the way? So in terms of free XP ships, there will be more. I don't know which one is going to be the next one. In terms of what are going to be the next researchable ships, the next branch that is going to go live are the Italian battleships, which are kind of around the corner. So I hope you get your hands on them in the foreseeable future. And then after that, we already announced this in the recent Waterline video, we're going to have a new branch of German DBs with a different playstyle. So I hope you guys are looking forward to this. Imp21 CN says, we need a place to see all reserve captains and change skills of all 4 types. Thank you for the feedback. We'll see whether we can implement this in the future. And then we say, can all BBs get the 20% secondary accuracy buff like the Germans did? No, because Werewolf, we want this to be a thing for the lines that are stronger with secondaries to have some kind of difference. If you would give it to all ships, like the German ships would also lose a little bit of that advantage over other ships. And we want our ships to be played differently, to have different branches, that have different playstyle, different pros, different cons. It's always a combination of statistics and characteristics for ships. If all ships would be the same, it would be quite bland, right?
Yes.
Are there any news regarding on which kind of currency Vampire 2 will be sold for? Yeti, no. And Mr. Conway, you wanted to say something?
I think I lost my train of thought.
I thought
it's
you
fine.
sounded like you wanted to say something.
From my side, I know. Look, we know controversial so far, but please give it a go. Like, play it, test it, and provide feedback. And this is not the final iteration. I'm sure there'll be some changes coming up going forward. Both ships and skills and in general.
Absolutely. So, guys, thank you very much for watching.
Yes.
Go, please. Test. Check out the combat missions and the daily shipments. We get daily shipments for the next 14 days. 10 daily shipments are available. We have combat missions for doubloons. For you, if you missed out on this, you go into your combat mission tab right here, and you will see under combat the different missions that are available. They are for the different nations. So, for example, I already did with the German nation, with the American nation. It's earn base XP, 1100 base XP. So you can get in total 600 additional doubloons. You get 500 for logging in. So please go and grab that. You can use the doubloons for whatever. If you want to retrain your commanders, send them to other ships. We do have free captain skill resets and free demounting of the upgrades.
Yes. We do need to pick someone to raid. I don't want to do it.
Can you, first of all, spam, please, the link for the survey?
Yes, I can absolutely spam the link for the
guys,
survey. So
one more time in the survey.
One more time. If you want to reset your commander skills, head to this link. It will reset all your commanders. If you're from another region, be smart. Just change the URL to .com Asia or RU. If you would like to give us some feedback on the commander rework, and please do, we have a little survey prepared. You can find it right here. Just go ahead and complete it. You can also, if you want to make up your mind first, you can also play for a few days and then complete the survey.
Exactly. Cool. Then chat, we'll be back next time, same place, same time. You know the drill for English streams. It's going to be 6 to 8 o'clock Central European time, or in UTC currently 1700 to 1900. You can also find this at the link that Mr. Conway is now displaying right above his head. He's not just pointing at the roof or the ceiling. No, he's actually pointing at the link. And with this, Mr. Conway, did you pick somebody to raid?
I just said I don't want to pick someone. You should pick someone.
I should pick someone. Okay. Okay. I will pick someone.
I don't mind doing it.
Okay.
I just look. It's because the raid obviously it makes some people happy, but it also makes other people potentially unhappy, and I don't want to spreading unhappiness.
And you don't want to be that guy.
No, not today.
Mr.
Not
Conway
today.
only wants to make people happy,
time.
not unhappy.
I'll do it next time.
So I'll pick somebody. Chat. We'll see you next time. Have a very good week. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. It's still, unfortunately, situation out there is still very tricky. So I hope you stay healthy and safe. And we'll see you next week. Take care.